Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Habitat Now. I am your host, not Erin Shea, but Regina Lutzinger, and joining me is the incredible Susan Taylor Glasgow. And I know you're wondering, where's Aaron? He has family obligations and cute little kids to take care of, so he's asked his number two, not Corey, me, to go ahead and, get this rolling. So let's begin. Let's start off with consigning artwork. We get tons of calls about this all of the time. My collection's too big. There's some pieces that don't fit in my collection anymore. Can you help me out? And the answer is, of course we can. The best way to consign your artwork through us is by just emailing us either at info@Habatat, emailing me directly, Regina at Habatat, or Erin at Habatat, with photos of your artwork as well as just any information regarding it. And then we can take it from there to see if we're able to consign your artwork into our next Masterworks auction. So our Masterworks auction will be in another 2 weeks or so. So keep heads up for that. They're all going to be online. And then the next in-person one will be at our beautiful Sarasota Glass Coast weekend. So please save the date. It's going to be a phenomenal time. It's going to be February 1st through the 4th of the next year. We're currently planning this right now, and we have such amazing events going on. It gets funner every single year. We get more of a crowd every single year. So I do recommend you guys go ahead, call us, and definitely set up your reservations with Debbie, and definitely come to the sunny side of Sarasota. And I cannot wait because I need some sun. Look at how pale I am. And of course we have our amazing Not Grandma's Glass. This is, glass for people who want something more on the edgier side, something that you wouldn't find in your grandma's, glass closet. So I recommend you guys checking that out. We get new artists all the time showcasing work. And as you know, we do Zooms with them all the time. So for tonight, this is why we're having this amazing Zoom. We're having a Masquerade gala, and we have around 60 to 70 people. We keep getting RSVPs for this, so it's going to be quite the event tonight. But it's going to be for the opening of this little lady's exhibition, Let's Fall in Love. She's got around 6 new pieces. So we're super excited to be showcasing them. We're super excited for you guys to come and support her. And yeah, can't wait. So as you guys know, these Zooms are on our YouTube and we record them. I'm recording this one right now, and they go up every single Sunday. So if you're ever in the mood to just sit and watch us talk with these amazing artists, please do, and share with anyone who loves glass art as well, or any type of art. We really want to support our artists in the best way possible. So this is why we do these Zooms. So speaking of that, I want to play this video. And while we're playing this video, we're going to talk to Susan about, just ask her some great questions. So Susan, first question I have for you is, what was the central concept or theme that inspired your newest exhibition?
Well, that is a really interesting question. Well, I've always embraced the feminine form, and I've moved into a new studio, so my work now is smaller.
Okay.
So I was looking for pieces that embrace the feminine spirit in a smaller format. So what you're seeing there is a dress form, and that's about 24 inches tall. Coffee pots, they're about 30 inches tall. And more mixed media.
More mixed media. We're seeing that.
When I first started out, I was doing a lot of mixed media and with just a small amount of glass.
We're not seeing the picture.
We're not seeing the images.
You guys aren't seeing it? No problem.
No.
No problem. I can get it started for you. Can you guys see it now?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Oh, good.
Go on.
Perfect. Okay. So when I first was pursuing being a professional artist, I did a lot of mixed media.
Okay.
And I felt like I wanted to focus on glass. So I cast off all of the mixed media portions of it and really focused on being a purist in a way.
Right.
But you know, I've been doing this now for 25 years, and I feel like I want to re-invite the ceramics and the other media back into the pieces, because I feel like it gives me more options.
Mm.
So when I was doing the figures with the faces, I was just having a hard time getting the faces to look good in glass.
Mm.
In clear glass, I felt like it was too reflective, and in white glass, I thought, well, you know, perhaps it might as well be ceramic.
Yeah.
So I started doing the ceramic figures for the busts and the heads, and
Wow.
I like the results of that.
Oh, they're absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's so fun to see, you know, Susan here and setting up her own artwork, and you're just amazing. Okay, could you share some insights into the entire artistic process, mainly for this exhibition? I know you said you're working in smaller forms.
Yes. So my new studio.
Congrats.
Yes, thank you, kind of. So my old studio had a designated photography room, a designated packing and shipping room. My new studio does not.
Oh.
So, and I tell young artists this all the time.
Mhm.
When you decide to become a professional artist, be prepared to have to do everything.
Wow.
So not only are you coming up with the concept of the work, you're creating the work, then you photograph the work, and then you pack and ship the work, and then you market the work, and
There's so many steps.
so many steps. Yeah. So when I'm preparing a new project, I don't even think beyond the first step,
Wow.
because if I think about all of these steps
Mhm.
that have to occur, yeah, it just stymies me. So I pick the first step,
And then you start from there.
creating the design, yes, and then continue from there.
So your evolution of style, it seems to be, you know, I see a lot of femininity in your artwork, which I absolutely adore and just get so inspired by it. But how do you feel your artistic style has evolved or transformed in this new exhibition?
Well, my previous career was a dressmaker,
Oh.
so I use many of the skills and certainly the concepts for that I learned as a dressmaker.
Mhm.
So all of my artwork starts out as flat sheet glass. So just like if I were doing a dress, I lay down the pattern on the sheet glass, cut out the profile,
Mhm.
and then I have forms that match those shapes to create the three-dimensional form. And then the very last thing I do is stitch it together.
Wow. How long does the stitching take you? It's all hand done,
Yes,
obviously.
yeah, probably for each project, I would say a couple days maybe.
Wow.
And part of that is I get a little worn out,
Yeah.
or the most recent piece, the little Queen Anne's teapot.
Mhm.
I wanted to have the X stitching on two sides.
Mhm.
And when I was lacing it, what was happening is I was getting X's on one side and not the other.
Ah.
So I monkeyed with that for like an hour until I figured out how to do the proper lacing. But then I'm like, oh, I need a cup of coffee. So, so couple days, but a lot of that is just,
So do you source your ribbon from somewhere, or like?
I used to hunt all over the place for the right color ribbon.
Yeah.
And now I dye it myself.
You do?
So I just buy a cream colored or white ribbon,
Mhm.
and then I dye it with acrylics.
Wow.
And then that saves me, then I get the color I want rather
Yeah.
than.
I mean, it's such detailed work that you do. I love it. And even for this one too that you just made, the beading even on the hair
Yeah.
too. How long did that take you to do?
A lot longer than a couple. Yeah. So these are like my first beading projects.
Yeah, we'll go back to it.
And I developed a technique, but I don't know if it's a technique that other beading artists use. But you can buy beads in what's called hanks,
Mhm.
so they're already on a string.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
that
easy. Yeah.
speeds
Thank
things
God.
up right away, right? But I like to use Hextol to adhere the beads onto the head
Mhm.
because it doesn't change color.
Oh, okay.
But Hextol takes at least overnight to dry. So I would do a portion and cure that, and then do another portion and cure that. So the actual beading part doesn't take so long, but the drying and curing of the adhesive takes a really
Wow.
long time.
And is this the first time you've done something beaded on your work that's been this intricate?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think you'll
Yeah.
be doing that going forward in your artwork?
I kind of like it,
Yeah.
but we'll have to,
You'll gauge it on the
yeah,
next piece, right?
right. I do what has to be done.
Yeah.
Let's just say,
I like that.
if it
That's
needs
perfect.
beading, I beat it.
So what emotions or responses do you hope to invoke in the viewers experiencing these pieces tonight?
Well, that's easy. I used to think that my artwork was about me,
Mhm.
but really it's about my mother
Wow.
and how she brought me up. She was very independent.
Mhm.
She would just do stuff, and it was like before you could pick up your phone and learn to do stuff, she
Yeah.
would just like jump in with both feet. So I appreciate that, her sharing that sense of adventure with
Mhm.
me. So my work is very nostalgic. It has a lot to do with stitching
Mhm.
and sewing and feminine work, but in this weird, unyielding material,
Yeah.
So in my studio, I feel like I'm cooking and sewing and doing all these domestic
Mhm.
feminine chores,
Yeah.
but in my studio. And like I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to cook real food, So when I made a glass cake, I wanted to have glass pot de verre frosting
Yeah.
on it. So I went online and figured out how to frost a cake.
Wow.
Because I've never frosted a cake
Mhm.
before, but so that was my first cake frosting experience, was in glass. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Would you be doing something like that again, you think, in the future?
Sure. That what I really love about glass sculpture, or even just sculpture in general,
Mhm.
is every project is an engineering project.
Yeah.
You're fighting gravity, you're fighting a lot of just natural elements.
Mhm.
And I like the challenge of overcoming those, issues.
Gotcha. I love it. And for this exhibition, we've decided to name it Let's Fall in Love.
Yes.
Yeah. So where is that coming from?
It just seems so friendly.
Yeah. You do. You fall in love with these pieces. So that's what I'm
all just fall in love.
I love that. Okay, so let me see. How do you think this exhibition reflects your personal journey or experiences as an artist? Excuse me.
Well, because my background is in sewing,
Mhm.
I feel like, one thing just kind of leads to another.
Mhm.
And every project that I do, whether it's successful or not, is certainly practice for the next thing that
Yeah.
I'm going to do. So people will ask, "Oh, where do you get all your ideas?" It's like most likely from the previous idea I just
Yeah.
had.
So are
the
you just
previous project.
not extending, but just exploring one idea into different pieces?
Things just build on each other,
Mhm.
and certainly skill level builds on each other.
Yeah.
So I did a series of coffee pots maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Mhm.
And I kind of wanted to use that coffee pot form, but this time have the figures up on top,
Mhm.
because they didn't have that back in the day. And then, so I'm making one of the coffee pots, and I honestly thought, oh, this is so much easier than I remember it being, because the patterns were already made and I had the forms all, because when I start a project out fresh and new, I
Mhm.
have to make the patterns, I have to make the forms,
Yeah.
and then there's a bunch of trial and error, and you
Mhm.
know, some cursing, and you know, so it was kind of fun to go back and have all of that kind of pre-prepared for me.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
then I could focus on the difficult portions of, you know, the head and the bust and the
Yeah.
beating of the hair and, you know, all of that.
It's insane. I know for some of the faces too, do you hand paint all of that as well?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
So they're all handmade
I'll
and
go to
hand
it.
painted in
Try
a
this one
ceramic
too.
glaze. Yeah.
And who is this young woman
Yeah.
in reference to? You'd say it's more you.
So people say, "Oh, is that you?" Only subconsciously. The tall fairy tale figures
Mhm.
are actually inspired by the Mexican Santos figures, the saints.
Oh, wow.
And some people are familiar with those.
Yeah.
And yeah. So what I really enjoyed about the Santos figures is this cage skirt with this kind of blank female figure.
Mhm.
And the intention is you know, they're often in churches and they can be dressed up as any saint.
Wow.
So, you know, they put the clothing, that particular saint's clothing on it,
Mhm.
and you know, the accessories, and then they're the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of the Santos. So my figures are kind of like these domestic fairy tale figures,
Yeah.
you know, where she's got kind of like a 1950s face,
Yeah.
but she still has that
That-
elegance of the
yes.
Santos. Yeah.
That's beautiful. You know, I noticed in a lot of your pieces, you tend to put butterflies. Is that like kind of one of your signatures?
That's been recent.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah, maybe the last few years.
All right.
Yeah. So I like the lightness of them,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of that, I don't know, happy feeling of the butterflies.
For sure.
I really like them in the little houses.
Yeah, I
trapping
love
them inside the houses.
how you did that is so cool, especially on the top of this piece. It's incredible.
Yeah,
It
that was
literally
fun.
looks like it's fluttering inside there. But the house too, is that just like a butterfly house that's supposed to be?
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
You guys, I'm so good at interpreting
You're
art.
You're,
It's like I should have a job in it. I'm
so
telling you.
artsy.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about for this exhibition specifically?
I was so pleased when Aaron suggested that we have a show.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because I really honestly only work if I have a deadline.
Yes.
You know, so nothing gets work done like a deadline. And it, you know, it just gives me more than a reason to work. It's like
Mhm.
a reason to just like get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, being in the studio, and I just really enjoy my studio. You know?
I'm happy. I mean, you're good at what you do, so I'm super excited. This piece is, oh my God, me just receiving these photos on this piece was
Aw.
like opening up I swear, Debbie could attest to this. As soon as I got this picture of this piece, I was like, Debbie, I'm forwarding this to you right now. Look at this piece. It's stunning. I mean, it's so beautiful. And it was so much fun to take photos of. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
I kind of wish it was life size, and I would model that one. This is the one that you for sure. You make this life size,
you
and I'll
in
model
there.
this for sure. Okay, and then let's talk for future directions. After completing this exhibition, do you foresee any shifts or new directions in your artistic exploration?
Well, you know, Debbie introduced an interesting concept. She wants to do a jewelry trunk show.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Before Christmas. So I didn't have time to prepare anything
Mhm.
for this trip, of course, but I told her I would go home and play around with some jewelry, which
Yes.
sounds super fun to me. You know,
Oh my
small,
God, yes.
you know, things get done like maybe in a day.
Yeah.
You know, would that be
Yeah.
great? So
Maybe a tiara that Debbie
Yes.
can wear around the office.
there you go. She deserves it.
All right. Does anyone have any questions to ask our amazing Susan Taylor Glasgow? If not, we can go through the artworks as well that she has that are new.
What is the thread that you use for the stitching? What is that made of?
I use a variety of things depending on how I want the end result to be. Most often it's nylon ribbon that I've hand dyed. But if it needs more structural integrity, say for the chandelier dresses, I will first lace it together with a fine wire and then lay that nylon ribbon over it, and you can't see the fine wire underneath it at all. So,
Oh my God.
but I really like the softness of the ribbon in contrast to the glass.
Incredible. Anyone else?
How about the lace? How do you make the lace?
That is actually either screen printed or sandblasted into the glass.
Oh my God.
So it's a glass enamel that's embedded in the glass and fired in the glass.
The writing too sometimes that you
The
put
writing
in?
too, yeah, is
Wow.
often sandblasted, and then so I'll sandblast it while the piece is still flat, and then I'll put it on the form, and the enamels get set in during the slumping process.
Wow.
So,
I mean, that took probably a bunch of trial and error.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine.
Well, again, when I go back to a new project,
Yeah.
and I've already developed skills from a previous project, it's like, oh, this seems easier than it was last time.
You're just making it easier and easier. You're introducing all these
Hope
new.
so, yeah.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Are all of the holes pre-drilled before you fire the glass?
No, that actually occurs in the hottest firing. So when I am assembling a section, say that section of the chandelier here, I determine where all the holes are going to be in advance. Well, the glass is still, I'm first cutting out the glass. And I, with a saw, mark where each of the hole locations is going to be. And then I fill it with a ceramic material so that the holes don't close up. So the holes are established in the very hottest firing, which occurs at about 1500 degrees.
Oh, wow.
And then all the subsequent firings have to be cooler so that the holes don't close again. And that's true of glass in general. You can't go hotter.
Yeah.
Once you've done something, you just have to keep going cooler after that.
Any other questions?
Is that true for the sewing of the dresses too? The holes are made that way?
Yep. Each section is cut out separately. The holes are determined, and then I make sure that they match up to the next section.
Yeah.
And they each get fired separately and then stitched together.
Oh my God. Do you recycle any of the glass that you've used for previous pieces?
Not very often, because I usually have like a bunch going on.
Yeah.
So, if something gets broken, or if it just like doesn't fit the project somehow, it usually just ends up in a box.
Oh.
And so I have a bunch of like single panels of stuff that is like a mishmash. Yeah. I feel like I need to make a big mobile.
Yeah,
with,
you should.
Just all these odds and ends hanging out
That'd
of
be
it.
really cool. Anyone else?
Well, I had asked a question in the chat.
Oh, okay.
If you could read
Sorry,
that.
guys. Okay. Is someone wearing something? Oh, Aaron asks, is someone wearing something special tonight?
Yes. Besides me.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk? We'll get to the other question too.
Yeah.
Tonight, we're having one of our staffs, but a model wearing one of the glass sculptures she creates. So stay tuned for that. If you guys make it, we'll definitely post that on Facebook too, but
Yeah.
that's going to be super fun to view. That's super fun. Okay. And then Miss Mary said, you used to do works related to women's issues. Will you consider doing that in the future? It seems that women's rights are going backwards. That's a great question.
Yes, it is a great question. Yes, and actually, most recently, during the versus Wade retraction, I did a piece addressing my feelings about
Wow.
the Roe versus Wade. Yes, and I use a lot less text in my work.
Yeah.
I used to, I don't know, maybe I felt like I needed to explain things to the viewer more, and I do that less. So I still feel like my work addresses feminine issues and emotions, but maybe less in your face.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Thank you.
If not, we will go now into her actual artworks. Oh, resume share. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get back to this. Oh, this is us. Look at beautiful Susan. Okay, so you want to talk a little bit about this one?
My hair looked like it was styled by kittens.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
So this is the Queen Anne's teapot that we have, and all of these are in the gallery right now too. So if you guys did need additional videos or photos, please reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to provide those for us. But love the coloring that you used. Love the teapots.
Thank you.
Totally is Queen Anne's teapot set.
And this has a little bit of mixed media because the cup and the sugar and creamer are actually from a child's set.
What?
Yeah. So I found this awesome child set and I thought, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that.
Yeah. All right. And this is the one I was talking about, the peach dress form on a stand. This mixed media as well because of the stand, right?
Yes, I guess. I don't really consider the stands part of the sculpture for the most part. Yeah. But I mean, they're necessary, of course.
But beautiful peach color.
Yeah.
I do love this color.
It's
and
very oh golly. I guess vintage.
Yes.
Yes. It's one of those vintage peaches.
But honestly, hitting it in a certain light, you get such a good gold amber on it too. Especially like in the videos, you can just see it just reflects beautifully. That's just stunning. Love this one too.
Isn't she cute?
Yes, so cute. And I love that she's named Cinderella's shoe. I just want to make up top in the houses.
There's a butterfly there too. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that one was tricky to photograph because if we turned it so that you could see the butterfly properly, then you couldn't tell it was a shoe.
Yeah. It's a shoe, we promise. And then we've got the butterfly coffee pot. Love that too.
Yeah, I actually started that coffee pot. I did the sections of it, maybe 5 years ago.
Oh wow.
And then, COVID and a bunch of other crap happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, cool.
My favorite part of this piece is the contrast between the green and black coloring, but then you get the clear. And I love that.
Thank you.
Because it actually just looks like it's involving, but it looks like it's the woman's form at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so good.
I'm so good at this, you guys. Okay, and here's the blue one too is just as beautiful. This one has flowers on it. Does the other one also? Oh no.
That one's butterflies, the other one's flowers. Although she still has a butterfly up in her little house. Yeah.
What color is it? I can't really see it.
It's
more green.
Yeah, greenish. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, and those are just the newest pieces we have. We have a ton available of Susan Taylor Glasgow's work. If you need new lighting in your house, she does make gorgeous chandeliers, and they do work.
Yes,
but they come with lights.
But they're not reading lamps.
No, they're not reading lamps. Does anyone have any other questions for us, or would like to say anything before we sign off? But I do just want to say one quick thing. I hope if you guys are in town that you're able to make it because tonight's gonna be so much fun.
I know, with their life model.
I know we got a live model. We've got cool Masquerade music that I begged Aaron to burn onto a CD. Hopefully it comes out. But I hope you guys come. We have a ton of people showing up to support. So please support our artists, even if you can't come. Please support by sharing this video or sharing any artwork. And we hope to see you there. But any other questions?
Just want to
Great success, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's gonna kill it tonight.
Bye, Steve.
Sorry I can't be there.
Yeah, me too.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. Woo!
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
there it is.